Okay, today is, well, it's late Saturday, and Sabbath has ended. It's actually like 3 o'clock in the morning. Um, Something happened on Friday, and I need to record this video um, as part of a future testimony. I have not looked, I looked at a couple pages, but I have not looked through this binder yet, so, So this binder here was sent express mail. I received this. I think it was Friday, and the dog started barking like crazy. I opened the front door, and the mailwoman was there, and I had to sign for a package, and it was like a paper envelope. It was really heavy, and of course, it was the type of envelope that I hate. There's only one type of envelope that I can't stand, and it's almost like a mix between like recycled paper and like cardboard. And then it's stuffed with little bits of ripped up paper. So when you open it, it just makes a mess all over the place. So I don't like it. So of course, this was the type of mailer that was used. Uh, I know there are monitoring spirits that have watched me my entire life, and God also watches us. But you know, being spied on, these spirits surely know that there's one type of package that I do not like, and it's like this it's almost like construction paper or cardboard, and then it's just stuffed with ripped up paper, and then when you open it, like it's like little fuzzies just go all over the place, and you have to vacuum it up, and then you breathe it in. So anyways, that was the type of mailer that this heavy binder was sent in. We're going to look at this together. If you didn't know, there was a court case opened against me. It's been more than a year now. And I'm not allowed to have a job. And this was just another tactic to keep me from getting a job. I'm sure that the narcissist would have done this eventually. But the timing of this court case was to stop me from getting a job. I had went to the National Guard, and I was going to apply, and as long as I was able to get the documents, I could have gotten a $10,000 sign-on bonus, got some of my roof repaired, and then had some type of job. And it was I could have just driven a truck. It would have solved a lot of my problems. So I went in, and being able to see certain things in the spirit, it wasn't what I expected. And so right after I went in, they must have noticed something, because then it looked like there were military people like that were going to the gym. So I went to the gym after, and then they came in and they were watching me for a few weeks, and like I just look at them. Because a lot of times they'd be like fit, like 50 or 60 years old with gray hair, and then just like military, the type of person that was never in the gym. And as soon as I went, as soon as I went to the National Guard, they started following me. But anyways, then I had my application. I filled some of it out, but then I had to get some documents, and I would have had to get it from family, which would have presented some problems. And I don't have any references. I have no one. So then I was concerned about this. Like, am I going to have to walk up and down the street to get some references? I don't know. But anyways, I had the application, and I was trying to fill it out. And then a court case is opened against me. And I received notification of that I was being sued. I got this 3 days, I think it was 3 days after I went to the Army Reserves and was going to get a job there. And they said, well, we gotta, they did say, we do have to, if you get in, but it was in the bag. If I would have filled out the paperwork, I would have gotten the job. It was pretty clear. But Anyways, God did not want me to. So it's pretty much the spirit realm was alerted. The spirit realm was alerted that I was going to go get a job, and they would have given me $10,000 cash, and I could have fixed some of the problems with my house. And then also had a job where I only had to work 2 days a week, and it would have covered a lot of my bills. It would have supplemented any sales I made, and I would have been fine. So this would have been a decent solution, honestly. Um, but as soon as I went in, like the spirit realm, they all knew. Kingdom of Darkness, like they intercepted it, and then because originally the narcissist was like, I'm not gonna like sell the house yet. I'm gonna do it in a little. Like he was gonna do something first. And I thought that's fine, you know. He takes a couple months to like clean the floor or something and find another place. I don't care. That's not what happened. So he wasn't supposed to be suing me. He was supposed to be selling the house, and then we split the money. But that's not what happened. He sued me, and he's still living in the house and probably not even paying the taxes on it. So anyways, it was just to try to get me. If you're a chosen one, if you're a saint, if you're a believer in God, um, if you've picked up your cross, then you probably have been targeted. Narcissists, demons, they use the legal system against good people. We're targeted, and we only go through. Excuse me. We only endure what God allows, and God knows how much we can handle. So anyways, this has been a long time coming. It has been more than a year now that this court case has been, well, I think more than a year. This court case has been opened against me. And so this was just open to stop me from going into the National Guard. Because then I was like, oh, I thought I was going to have to go to court right away. And then if I was in basic training for a month, this would have presented problems. And so then I was just hoping to get that out of the way, and then I would join. And that's not how it happened, because the case just sat there open for a long time to prevent me. So I couldn't, to join the National Guard, you still have to do like 30 days basic training. I would not have been able to do that because I had a looming court case. And then that was just pushed down the road, and it's like more than a year later now. This was to prevent me from getting that job. And now I can't get it. And now I know God did this because I'm still not allowed, because Archangel Michael told me not to get a job when I was young, and I wasn't sure if I was allowed to now. And every time I thought about getting a job, something would happen as a sign to not proceed. Like there was a place that I went and they needed help, and so I'm like, you know what, I could pick up a few hours there, and then I could cover my bills. And then the day that I go in, they're like, oh, we don't need any help now. Every other day they did, just like signs like this. And then when I go in, I've got my application, I'm filling it out, and then 3 days later I get the notification in the mail, which means that like the narcissist went to a lawyer that day or the next day and then mailed something immediately to stop me. And they thought that they were destroying my life, but actually God didn't want me to join the National Guard. That's why the devil was allowed to do that. And it all worked out for my good. A lot of problems would have been solved, but I wouldn't have had the life that God had for me. I wouldn't have been able to do missions that God wanted me to. So this was all planned. But it is late Saturday, and I think this came on Friday. My paper envelope that's full of all the little recycled paper bits is sitting out on the porch. I didn't even bring it in the house. I don't feel good. I don't want to mess with it. So I just took this out, looked at a couple pages, and then I sat it down on the table, and then I just ignored it. But a strange thing is that I do know a lot of people spy on me. So the neighbors will spy on me. The people right across the house next door, they spy on me. I don't know if they just have no reason. I think they're being paid by someone to spy on me. And I know that my ex-narcissist drove by, and sometimes I would hear what sounded like his vehicle driving by my house. So I think he would just drive by and spy, and I don't care. I really don't care about that. But like with the neighbors spying too, some of this is just, maybe they can discern certain things, or people have demons. Most people have demons, and so some of that is like they're not even being paid. But sometimes, like, the amount of spying, there has to be something else there. There has to be some type of money involved, because it's too much work. It's too much time to be doing this for free. It seems like whenever I would go outside, then they would come out. Or, the other neighbor would come over and talk so they could spy, and they were looking through my window. So anyways, the day that this little good, look how big this is. Okay, this is heavy. I was surprised when I picked up the envelope. It was like a brick. Um, so then I looked at a couple pages, and then I plopped it on the table. And when I say looked at it, I only mean a few seconds. That's all. And then I sat it down. I'm like, okay, it was printed. This is color in here. So I saw like just enough to know what this is. And I'm not concerned. But then, like, within a half hour of receiving this, well, I don't know. I don't want to lie. I think it was like a half hour after the mailwoman gave me the package. So it wasn't very long. Then I heard the dogs barking again. And then I've got sheer, you see, right there, you see where that red line is there? That is a sheer curtain. So during the day, I can see through it, and I can see to the road. And from the outside, people can see that. They can just see like a shadow, like a silhouette. And I can see through that. And this is good, too, because I can see if somebody is spying on me, and I can see if something suspicious is happening. So I do like, and plus the dogs, they notice, and they bark. And so I walk towards it, and I couldn't tell who was there, but there was a right in front of that window right there. I walk towards it, and then there's a road on the other side. There's not a parking in front of my house. That's on the other side of the street. It's a 35-mile-per-hour road right there, and it's actually pretty busy because I'm a mile from the downtown area. And so I walk towards the sheer curtain, and I see that there's a person on a motorcycle that is stopped in the middle of the road, and I couldn't tell if it was a man or a woman. I kind of thought maybe it's a woman. It might not have been. I know one of the neighbors has a motorcycle, but this was a different motorcycle. So someone on a bike just stopped right in front of that window trying to look in my house, and the dogs were barking. They're barking really weird, like making weird howls. And I'm like, fine, I'll get up, because I ignored it for a few seconds. And then I realized, oh, okay, there might be something I'm supposed to see. I got up and I walked towards it, and then I saw that there was a motorcycle stopped in the middle of the road staring into my window. And I was getting closer, and I was trying to see who it was, and then they sped off once they saw me coming. So I could not tell. And then I went and I opened my door, and I went out my door, and I tried to look, but I thought maybe it was a woman, but it might have been a man. I don't know. It wasn't the one neighbor that has a motorcycle. So I don't know what the deal was. If they were just paid, maybe it was to try to freak me out, to let me know that someone is spying on me. If this is supposed to be intimidating, it's not. I really actually feel bad for the narcissist, because they're going to lose everything if they haven't already. They probably already lost everything. And they had spent more than $22 to mail. They mailed this binder to me, and the postage said it was more than $22. And I had to sign for it. And then shortly after this arrived, then someone stopped on a motorcycle, looked in, and I do not believe this was my narcissist. He has a unique body shape. He's a hybrid. So, he's more slender. He's like kind of, well, they have a different look to them than normal people do. Anyways, but maybe like a little taller and like the wrists and things are different than most people. So this was not. This was like a normal human that stopped on the bike outside of my window, and then when they saw me coming, then they sped off. So maybe they just wanted me to see to try to intimidate me, or maybe they did want to spy. I don't know, and they didn't want to get caught. Maybe somebody was looking to see if I got the package, or making sure I was home, and then to see like maybe what my reaction was. And when the mail woman came, I was a little bit frazzled because like the dogs were barking like crazy, and I went out and I didn't expect her to be there, but she was there, and I'm like, and she had another mail too, and I took and I signed for it, and I was just kind of confused, like, what is this? And then I saw my ex's name on it, so I opened it up before I came in. I looked at a couple pages, sat it on my table, and then I just ignored it. And then that vehicle drove by. Now, this, I think, arrived on Halloween. I don't know if Halloween was Friday, but that's about when I got this. I'm trying to think if there was anything else. Yeah, so anyways, my narcissist, my ex-narc, his name has 6 syllables. This was done intentionally. His name means Red High Guardian Silk Weaver. So his name has 6 syllables. Mine has 7. My name means White Spirit, Tree of Life, like a garden of the Tree of Life, overseer. And so this is quite strange. It was all planned, and even when we got together, he mentioned about how his name was passed on from his uncle. It was really important. Like, certain things were pointed out to me to let me know. There were signs. I was given warnings, and the devil does have to tell you what they do. The devil is a perpetual victim, but they do try, like, he was poisoning my food, doing all types of stuff. So what else has happened? Well, I'll go to YouTube to see what's happening, because all the prophecies are on YouTube. That's how they're speaking to us in 2025, is YouTube videos. So there was a YouTube video. I did not watch all of it. I don't think I watched it, but I just saw the headline. Bugs in here. And it was like how a major blessing was coming or something, like, and it said within 24 hours or something, a miracle or a blessing. And then, the time went and passed, and I didn't really think there was any miracle or blessing. I didn't notice it. Why is there still a mosquito in my house? I don't know. It's been in my house for like a week. It's cold outside, and my windows are closed. So this is probably a monitoring spirit. So it said there was supposed to be a miracle blessing. And I was like, well, I was expecting something because my situation sucks. Nothing happened. And so then, like Thursday, I think. So on Thursday, I got, let's see, what day was that? So if that was a 30, maybe I think maybe the 29th. This is just going off my memory here. I'm pretty sure this is correct. So I think on the 29th, there was an email, and it said there was an update to my case. And I logged in to the website, the government website, where it shows the status updates for the court case. And something strange was on there. I don't even really understand what it means. But I looked something up, and it looks like, now, I'm not sure, but I looked up like the little abbreviations, and it looks like maybe my narcissist, my ex-narc, had a new lawyer, and then that lawyer either quit or was fired. So, wow, this is a long story. I have hardly thought about any of this, how much I've been involved with. Um, February of this year, my ex narcissist had a lawyer. He was trying to come after me. And then, I am saying this honestly and truthfully, I 100% believe he killed his lawyer. So my ex narcissist was poisoning my food and he tried to kill me. And he's probably behind part of what happened to my roof. And then he was trying to get the dogs, hurt or harmed or killed. Um, Trying to leave me homeless on the street or in a loony bin. None of that happened. I didn't expect this, but God protects us. God will protect us. And I 100% believe um, that all of this, it's like we plan things out. We agree to things, and God designs this life. We agree to it. And then we have points where we can continue or we can abort the mission. But anyways, like, things happened to me spiritually at the end of our relationship. I knew what I was dealing with. I was told to fight. Um, so I did know I was married to a serpent, a green serpent with yellow cat eyes that was evil, and that was interesting. Um, Now, it's funny is like it's like they wanted me to see and they showed me what they were, but then God wanted me to see at the same time. So like they were trying to like have me freak out and tell everybody, and I didn't freak out. I just said it like in a normal voice, and so it didn't play out the way they expected. So I didn't get sent to the loony bin. And him and some other family too. They were like, "Oh, you weren't getting enough sleep, and when you're really upset, you can hallucinate and see things." And I'm like, "Okay, I can clearly see. Okay, you showed me who you are. Okay, it makes sense because I was calling him an Anunnaki all these years because I said I knew he was a hybrid. He's not normal. His body is not normal." And so I would always say things like I said, "You don't have any empathy, or you got just a little bit." And I said, "You're an Anunnaki," because he was kind of stretched out and had a different head shape and stuff. So I didn't think he was fully human. I thought he was a hybrid. And so when I saw this, I was not surprised. I'm like, "Oh, you know what? That explains a lot." That explains. So it was kind of exciting. But anyways, maybe you guys have gone through similar things. Um, yeah, he did everything he possibly was allowed to, everything that they could to, and when I say they, I mean the serpent, and then it's like there was a serpent that shapeshifted into a human, but that serpent was also possessed with like hundreds or thousands of demons. So what I think is this wasn't even a human, it was a different species, a serpent, that was tricking me. But I already agreed to this as a spirit before I came to Earth, and other people in the similar situation, they agreed to that too. So I thought, in the beginning, I thought he was a human, but then weird stuff kept happening. I'm like, "You're not a normal human. There's something. You're a hybrid or you're an Anunnaki." He would always get really mad. He's like, "It's Nephilim." One day he said, "It's Nephilim," and he said it in a different demon's voice, manifested, telling me I'm not an Anunnaki, I'm Nephilim. Anyways, so he did all types of stuff to try to get me. I can't even remember all of it. But then he got a lawyer to try to get me. And then his lawyer couldn't get me. And I never got a lawyer. Like, he sent me some stuff in the mail, and then I just replied to and filled out a form and mailed it back. And then he couldn't do anything. And since his lawyer wasn't able to destroy me, then he killed his lawyer. He probably killed his lawyer right before the payment was due, or the lawyer was asking for payment. And I'm just imagining. And he's like, "Well, you didn't do anything for me. I don't have a court case. She never responded," anything like that. And so he probably got upset and killed his lawyer. And I looked, because I get notifications in my email when there are status changes to my court case. And so I got an email and had logged into the website, and it said that, good boy, it said that my ex narc, who I thought was my husband, but we weren't legally married, so that's great. So I'm still unmarried because I thought we were married, but like we weren't. So that's great. This is awesome. Anyways, it'd be much worse for me if we actually were. Um, well, I looked on there. It said his lawyer was deceased, and so I looked up the name of the lawyer and I did an internet search. And this is sad. I'm sorry to laugh about. This isn't funny. Because there's probably actually there are more people I believe he has killed. There are two other people that I 100% believe he killed. I 100% believe he killed. There was a girl in high school that I think he killed. And with the poisons they administer, I think she had some heart condition, so I think he poisoned her and killed her, and she agreed to, like, and I went over and saw her actually, and she had a baby. He probably had a baby with this woman, and they just pretended to be friends, and then she died of a heart defect, and it was like, well, here's my new girlfriend, and I wasn't aware. Now I know what it was. I was a better supply, so she was murdered. And they use witchcraft. There are flowers and plants they can use that will cause heart failure. This is what was done. It's trace levels, low level amounts over an extended period of time until the heart gives out. The doctors, the hospitals do not test for any of these. They will not show up in any results. This allows narcissists to do what they do. So, and also there was another family member who was staying with his parents, and he was actually working from home and went to their house to work from home while that relative was staying with them. And then I didn't even know. She was there for like a year. And then she died. And all of her money was signed over to them. And so I didn't even realize this at the time. And then they're like, oh, well, this person died. And I'm like, oh, I didn't know. And they said, sorry, we didn't have you over for like a year, because this relative was coming over to this relative was staying here, and she was dying of cancer. So we didn't invite anyone over. And then they also heard him say things like they said they were talking to me and other people, and the other relatives say we stole the inheritance. They disowned him. And actually, yeah, I believe, and it said that she wasn't even talking to or contacting anyone. So what I believe is they had her like a prisoner in the house, not able to make any phone calls or contact anyone, and then they would forge her signature and signed over all of her assets to them and murdered her, probably using the same poisons, which would be easy to believe because she already had cancer and had undergone chemotherapy. So, this was highly suspicious because she was there for a year, and she had visited me, she had visited my kids before. I liked her, and why wouldn't you tell me so I could visit her again? She was there for a year, and no one told me, and they said the other family members claimed that they stole the inheritance. While she was there, I didn't get as much as a phone call from her. No one told me, and then she's dead, and then they get all the inheritance. So he killed his high school girlfriend to get me, and then probably that was his child that was given up for adoption that I wasn't aware of at the time, but God, will reveal things. And then they killed their own relative that liked them to steal her money. And who else have they done this to? And then he probably killed his lawyer, because when I looked up his lawyer on the internet, it said that the lawyer died suddenly and unexpectedly. And it didn't say how. And I saw that and I knew immediately. The narcissist poison. They poison. And the thing is that I don't want to say anything negative of the dead. I truly don't. We all have a purpose and a part of God's plan. And I believe that God does protect the saints. God does protect the remnant. But that doesn't mean that this man was bad either. Because he might have had a life purpose. And that this was the exit point. So I don't know, and I can only guess, and that's not the point. The point is that he was representing my ex-narcissist. They weren't able to do anything, and now he's dead. And so this was in February. Now it's October. So February, March, April, May, June, July. Okay, so 8 months later, then I got another email saying there's a status update to my case. And it said something like there was a name of a lawyer, and that lawyer was inactivated or something. Which, and I don't remember exactly. I looked this up a few days ago. But I looked up the terms, and that meant that either this lawyer quit or was fired. It did not specify which one. And it says the lawyer can stop representing a client if they're loony, if they're kind of nuts, if they have malicious intent, like they're trying to defraud someone or the system. The lawyer can actually quit. So I'm thinking maybe that, or maybe the narcissist fired his lawyer. But I looked up the lawyer, and there was like one or two other people that were on this court case with me. And one of them was like a treasurer or something. So I have no idea what is going on here. But anyways, so, and one of them looks like a woman that was screwed over who has a high position, like a good job, maybe even works in some level of government. So that's good news for me, I guess. And so when I look at the court case, it's my ex-narcissist, and he used to have a lawyer, and then his first lawyer is dead, and then his second lawyer, which I didn't know he got another lawyer, well, that lawyer apparently quit because he's nuts. And then it was him versus me. And then it says that I'm a lawyer. How cool is this? It says that it says my name, and then where it says my representation, or on the court case, like on the website, has the name of the person and then the name of their attorney or their lawyer. So then it says me, and then it says my lawyer is me. So I'm a lawyer now. This is so cool. And I don't even have to do anything. Like sometimes there'll be a form, and you do have to respond with a different form. So, but you can call the courthouse and find out what form to send in, and then you can just say, because I don't have any money. I tried to get free representation. No one would help. Nothing was available. I didn't have any money to get a lawyer. And so the only option I had was to just like fill out this form and then send it in the mail. And that's what I did. And so they couldn't do anything. So when I went to YouTube and I saw like these prophecies, like this big blessing is coming and it's coming. And I think these videos were like on Wednesday. And I think, let's say if Wednesday was the 28th, and I see these videos, or it was either Tuesday or Wednesday or something, and I see these videos, there's supposed to be some miracle blessing. That comes and passes, and like, I don't remember what exact dates. But anyways, I saw these videos, and I'm like, oh, am I going to get a blessing now? Is someone going to come fix my roof or my plumbing? Something good, like my vehicle? Is something good going to happen? And then the time passed, and I was like a little discouraged. But, I trust the Lord. And then I find out, like, it was a day or two later, I log in, and it looks like my ex-narc somehow did get another lawyer, and that lawyer was either fired or quit. And I imagine this lawyer quit. If you know what I mean. So that would be my miracle blessing. How great is that? So it must have been that same day that lawyer quit, that this was express mailed to me. And this binder, I guess, is the phony fake fraud case the narcissist was trying. The narcissist was trying to sue me for $30,000 because he was just supposed to like steam clean the carpet where the dogs got mud in it. So he had this little scheme where my daughter was involved, and they dug up all the grass in the backyard, and so it was just a mud pit. And the dogs ran on the mud, and they ran in the house and got the carpet like all full of mud, and the carpet was messy. We had like a steam cleaner and something like it was a whole new jug, like a gallon of cleaner. And it was only this one area in the upstairs. The downstairs was like wood floor. So this was ready to use and to clean the floor. The floor was not steam cleaned. He ripped out the carpet, installed brand new wood floors, got the expensive stuff, and then tried to sue me and get $30,000 from me to pay for these wood floors. So he was supposed to be selling the house. I have no money because I had to borrow money to get into this house. So the sale of my old house should have paid for this house because this house costs a lot less than the house. So the house I used to live at with the narcissist, about half that value is what this house costs plus repairs. So I was, I had a budget. So I borrowed what I should have got out of that house, and then I got this house with it. And then I was supposed to be given that money back within a couple of months when the house sold. Well, that didn't happen. Instead, you can't even sue somebody if you do home repairs until the house sells. Like, that's normally what happened, is you would sell it, and then you would split the cost of repairs, and then the money would go to the different parties, like the co-owners and things. So he didn't want to sell, or he wants to sell, but he wants me to pay him $30,000 and then sell. But I don't have any money. Not only do I not have any money, I couldn't even qualify for an emergency $5,000 or $10,000 loan. I can't qualify for anything. I have zero money. I have zero ability to get a loan. So I already have some credit cards that I've had for like 10 years, so that's good. But there's no way. Like, even if he would win, which is impossible, I don't have any money to pay him. It's just the truth. So the point was that I was supposed to be homeless on the street, lose my dogs, lose my business, lose everything. And I lost a lot. I lost almost everything, but I have my dogs. So I prayed and I asked God, like, I need a roof over my head and my dogs. And so I got some of that, because there's not a roof over this whole house. There's a roof over this room. But I got the roof over this room, and I got my dogs. So anyways, this court case was just to like try to get me to kill myself, apparently. And I saw it immediately. I was not concerned. As soon as I saw this court case, I was never concerned. And the reason is because I trust God. Number one, I trust God. Because, like, when God shows you, like, things in the spirit, like, when God shows you that your spouse of who you thought you were married to for 20 years was actually a serpent, like, like the biblical serpent, then you can trust God. Like, oh, okay. And then I understood, like, I was supposed to be with this person. I said certain things. I had exit points. I continued with the mission. So if I'm with the devil for 20 years, and that's just one of the demons in this creature, if I'm with a serpent Nephilim for all of this time, then God is going to make sure I'm not homeless on the street. So, because in a lot of ways I'm kind of like homeless on the street, but I have my dogs, and I got this home here with a yard. Now, it doesn't have, the plumbing is not working, the roof, it's raining into certain parts of the home. I keep the heat very low because I don't have much money. And I don't have a washing machine. Every time I get one, it breaks. Every time I have a way to get my clothes washed, then that's cut off. So I just wear dirty clothes. It rains in my house. It's cold. I'm charging my food. I'm not able to buy organic food. I'm eating the food of it's kind of weird. Like, I don't have a vehicle. That was part of the devil's plan. So I just basically ride a bike around, and I wear dirty jackets. I look like a homeless person, but I have my dogs. So anyways, the narcissist tried to destroy me. And so probably the day that his new lawyer fired him, they said, okay, well, I'm firing you, but I'll go ahead and mail this. Here's your binder. Here's what you paid me all this money for. Here's your binder. And so this was express mailed to me, and then somebody was sent to spy on me, I guess to make sure I got it or see if I was upset. It's funny, if I add up the numbers on the case, the case number. I've got a 6 and I've got a 20. I've already mentioned what those are before. Book of Revelations, power to overcome the saints plus the 6. So I open this up, and so it starts with this here. So he tried to, basically, he brought an appraiser in to say the house was worth nothing, to say the house was worth $0. And so they did that, because he went to the pet store. He went to the pet store and bought mice and put them in the basement, and then the mice infested the whole house, and they were like, dumped all my clothes on the floor, and the mice ruined my clothes. And the appraiser was brought in while there was a mouse infestation. Now, I was a stay-at-home mom. I didn't have a car. I didn't have an income. And so he didn't want to pay to get an exterminator. He was going to see who got the house first, because if I got the house, I would pay to get an exterminator. Like, okay, well, I don't have any money, so... And then, let's see... When I look at this binder, he is basically trying to claim the house is worth nothing. So not only do I get no money for the house, but I have to pay him $30,000 for doing labor on the house. Now, I did get things in the mail saying, like, sight unseen, like, we'll offer you a certain cash value for your house. And that cash value would have been more than my loan to purchase this house. And that was for sight unseen, like all types of damages. There could be all types of problems in your house. And they would have paid more than what I needed to pay off my loan to get this house. But he brought in an appraiser after he dumped mice in the house, so they couldn't give it an appraised value at that point. So the first page of this... Okay, the note we received from the appraiser. When he feels comfortable going further in the property, we should be fine. Obviously, the mice situation will have to be addressed, and to make sure there was running water. So I don't know what happened. There was running water in the house. I was using the water. But he got pet store mice, domesticated pet mice, and dumped them in the basement, and then brought an appraiser in to try to say the house wasn't worth anything. Let's see here. So, and this was from the bank, too, where they give you a lower appraised value. So, the next page is his hourly rates for doing labor. For doing labor on our house that he destroyed. He put the mice in the house. He hoarded the house, and he dumped my clothes on the floor, and he dumped his stuff all over the floor. And then he was trying to... So I actually moved out and took all my stuff. And then somehow he was trying to claim that what was left there was mine, when I already took all my stuff. You see this house? This is all my stuff here. So he's been living at that house for more than a year and not paying me rent, and probably not paying the property tax either. So, factors influencing hourly rates, biosafety levels. The risk associated with biohazard dictates the cost, with higher biosafety levels requiring more specialized equipment. And so they've got 25 to 50 per hour for low risk, going up to extreme risk, $150 to $600 or more. And then he's got wild mice. Yeah, there was a couple wild mice. They were mainly pet store mice. There were both. But I know what a pet store mouse looks like. They are fat and plump, and they're slow, and they got big eyes. They're cute. And so I'd pick up, like, I had like a nightgown or something, or a robe on a hanger, and I pick it up, and there's just a mouse hanging on it. And it's the domesticated mouse from the pet store. This is not a field mouse, which would never let you anywhere near it. And so basically saying that this is dangerous. Yeah, here, now I actually have proof. I have proof from my ex-narc, and he was poisoning me, yes, but that my health was in jeopardy. He was forcing me to live in the house with mouse feces and not cleaning it up. when he was making like 100 a year at the end of our relationship, and I had no income. So I didn't have the money to get this done. So this is saying, like, apparently he needed to get paid up to $600 an hour for this. Okay. So then he wrote down the dates here. He wrote down the dates. And so this is when he started cleaning the kitchen, and then he spent 3 hours cleaning the kitchen, and then he threw away waste for 6 hours. So he's writing down when he did stuff and when he did it with his father. How many hours? So he's got himself and his father on here. He's writing down how many hours he spent cleaning, throwing away trash. And keep in mind, I've already moved out and took all of my belongings. There is nothing of mine left in that house. There was community stuff, which I left. So I left most of the furniture. Like, I took a pot, I left a pot. I took a pan, I left a pan. So, you know, if he's trying to charge me for that, you know, this is ridiculous. Disinfecting the laundry area, biohazard. So this is just like writing down the hours him and his father worked, doing biohazard cleaning, and he has no case. So I think that the point was just to send this to me and try to upset me, to like lower my vibe or something, like, you know, we're high vibration beings. But this doesn't. This is good, because now I can show this. This is part of my testimony. Thank you. I did have to live in a rat horde. I did have to live in a rat hoarded biohazard mess with a narcissist. And that is not how I lived before I met the narcissist. I liked things clean, but they weren't excessively clean. So, you know, I actually took care of business and was responsible, and he was not. He would rent a movie and just keep it for a month, and then when it was returned, it would cost more than just buying the movie. But no, I would never do that. So, see. So I'm just going through this, and so then here's a picture of the upstairs. If this is supposed to look bad, that doesn't even really look bad. So, if you see this picture here, there is my computer screen, which was a TV, and there is a stack of, that's a stack of tubs. So this is supposed to be an example of what he cleaned, which, this picture was taken while I was still staying there and I was moving. So I had to take like 10 trips back and forth. So I got these tubs to put my stuff in, to put in my van and drive to my new house. So this is the tubs that I needed to put my belongings in. So by the time he would have cleaned, then this stuff would have been gone, because I put my belongings in these tubs, then I moved them here. But that doesn't even look that bad. But yeah, I was in the process of moving there, so this doesn't even look that bad. So, and then here we have, here's another picture of the house. So this is his color picture. You know, if he's trying to claim biohazard, this doesn't look too bad, honestly. It's just not as bad as a hoarder. But you see my tub here, I was packing my belongings. I was putting my stuff, so I've got a box. I've got like boxes of merchandise here. I've got tubs, and I've got other boxes, because I was packing my stuff and I was loading it into my vehicle. So all of this stuff was gone. All of my belongings are gone. And I actually accidentally left some childhood stuff there, but you know, it's a loss. I don't need it. Like, I accidentally left a box there that had like an old iPod and like a little baby bib, and you know, I don't need it back. They can have it. Cast your little witchcraft spells over it. I mean, you already have. So, but this isn't good. Like, this is, oh. And this is supposed to be like showing how guilty I owe him $30,000, at least. So this is another picture of the upstairs. As you can see, there are boxes and tubs there. As you can see, there's a lot of boxes and tubs. See, here we got some CDs. boxes and tubs. Because I was moving my store and my merchandise, and I do sell CDs, so you could see these items were clean. The mouse infestation was in the downstairs, and that is where the narcissist stayed. I stayed upstairs, and my merchandise was actually kept in a shed in a separate clean and sterile environment. So I got these tubs and things to move my items. So I would bring them in, fill up the tubs, and then put them in my van. So as you can see, I was in the process of moving here, and it's not even that bad, honestly. But as you can clearly see, there are and so this might be a really long video. I haven't looked at this yet. You see, this is not, I'm damaging this. This doesn't bother me. It really doesn't. But if anything, this is a good part of my testimony. So here's his next picture. This is the kitchen here. How he had to spend like 20 hours cleaning the kitchen and charge me money. So if you look at this picture here, you see these tubs. And so I was moving and had to move merchandise. So I bought a lot of these like Sterilite tubs, and I was putting my stuff in the tubs before I loaded it into the van. And so that's why there was stuff there, because I was moving. And then there was the dog cages there, which I have taken, and they're in my garage. Let's see. Yep. See, here's his evidence. His evidence was that I was packing and moving. So why don't I get paid? I spent like hundreds of hours packing, moving, cleaning. So why don't I get paid for that? And here's like a mess that he has taken. Let's see, what is this? He took a picture of my merchandise that was all clean. That as it was, or this is before the stuff before it went in the van. To try to make it look like. Oh my gosh, he put the name of this picture. He put my daughter's bedroom. He said this was my daughter's bedroom. That's ridiculous. Let's see. Here the narcissist. They do all types of things. Originally, there was the house was a 3-bedroom, and one of the bedrooms was really tiny. It was like the size of a large closet, and you couldn't even put a desk and a dresser. Like, it had a tiny little closet, like maybe like smaller than a coat closet, and then you could maybe fit a bed and maybe a small dresser. So it was a very small room. And so my daughter had like the downstairs. So she had an area that was like 4 times that size. So it was a bi-level, and you would go downstairs. So her bedroom was like the downstairs area. So there was a basement, and then the other part was finished. And so she had this whole downstairs area as her bedroom. And so he made sure to put that this small room, it was like an office. He put, this is my daughter's bedroom, and then there was merchandise put in there. And her bedroom was the entire downstairs. So this is trying to frame me or something. But anyways, this is just the same thing here. I actually did have a store, and see, look at that. Here is my store, and I moved this whole thing myself. Nobody helped me. I did this all myself. So yeah, I had a shed built and all the clean merchandise there, and I moved all of it myself. But I had a new shed put up here, so the merchandise is in the shed, and it's kept clean and separate. Let's see. And then here, after he cleaned the kitchen. Now look at the kitchen. after he cleaned the kitchen. Yeah. That's pretty much how it looked. Actually, I think... Or wait, this is before he cleaned it. So this is actually showing how much work I did here. So this is actually what the kitchen looked like when I left. And what you see here is there's mud on the floor here. So you see mud on the floor because there's a dog door. So see, there's a dog door, and the dogs would run in the mud because my narcissist and my narcissist daughter dug up all the grass in the backyard. So it was a mud pit. They did this on purpose to try to charge me to put in new floors. And so there's a dog door, and the dogs would come in and just track mud. But you could easily wipe this, because this isn't real wood, this is fake wood. It's laminate or vinyl. I think this is vinyl. So you could have just mopped this. This would have mopped up pretty easily. But he didn't mop this. And so this is what it looked like. So the first picture of the kitchen showed the dog cages before I put them in my van. And it showed my tubs, like when I was moving. So then once I left those stuff, you can see what I have left here. I left the kitchen table. I left the kitchen chairs. I left the kitchen island. I had 2 utensil holders. I left one, and I left every single utensil that he needed. I left a cookbook with a cookbook stand, and there's a coffee machine there. And so I left all this stuff. I even left him some nice new supplements, but he didn't take the supplements. He let the dogs chew them up. But anyways, so I left like pots, pans, utensils, and so this, I don't know how, I don't understand how, I don't understand what the angle is, because it just showed before and after I was moving stuff, and I left things he would need, and I left the furniture, and I took my belongings, so, let's see, what is this? And so, I guess, this here, I don't know what, this is the upstairs after I left, and so I don't know if he has dumped trash, or actually, I still haven't, no, this isn't accurate, this is before I left. Okay, so I was moving. Now, you see this picture here, the upstairs? This is how I know I wasn't done moving yet, because you see these tubs, see those blue tubs in that big box? So I was in the process of moving, and I had to make many trips, because I actually have a whole store. And that's what a lot of this stuff is that he was showing. I have an entire store with merchandise. Of course, all that information and the pictures on the server, that has crashed. My computer was like 15 years old, and I think the power supply died again, and so I can't even access that stuff. God's keeping my sales really low. But there was a period of time that I did used to make money. With my store, and I had a legitimate business, and I actually have a lot of good reviews, and I do offer good service and stuff if anyone still wants to go to my store. But this was, so I was going back and forth, and this is before I left. So you could see I have not fully moved yet because I still have a box and some tubs here. But what happened here is I got the couch, which is right there. Okay, so I got the couch and the ottoman that are right there, the dog bed. And so when I put those in the van, then this was not the condition of the house when I was done moving. As you can see that this was like, he would come to the house, so I would load up the van and bring my stuff to the new house, which is here. And then while I was doing that, he went back and took pictures of the house, while I was moving. So this is not what it looked like. This is not what it looked like when I left. Let's see. I had a narcissist daughter that would rip up trash. She would always take garbage and shove it under the furniture, and she would take fruit peels and rotten food and hide it under the furniture. So when I was moving and I took the couch, she had shoved a bunch of trash under the couch. They were all involved in trying to frame me for this. So, this is not how I live. Now, this is the basement. This is what I had to live in with the narcissist. So, if we look at there, he's showing bags of trash, and that is mouse feces right there. So look at all that. That's because he went and he bought mice at the pet store, and he had bags of dog food, and he put it on the basement floor, and he dumped my clothes on top of it, and then the mice got down into the mice didn't really come upstairs because they were eating all the dog food. There were so many mice that, like, there was like a 50-pound bag of dog food, and they ate like all. They were cleaning these things out. So somehow I'm supposed to pay money for this. And actually, there was a demonic gateway. And this is the basement part. So in the downstairs was my daughter's room, and then on the other half of the downstairs was a basement. And that's where the narcissist kept his belongings. He kept his gun. He kept his surveillance equipment. And he kept the clothes and the dog food. And his stuff was down here. So this is where he kept his belongings. And if you would walk, like, outside of that basement, so like half of the downstairs was a big giant room, and half of it was like a basement area. If you'd walk past that basement area, if you can spiritually discern, it would feel evil. And so I didn't even want to go in there. I didn't even go in there because that was his room, and it just felt evil. It was like, ugh, I don't want to go in there. And this is what was going on in there. It like wasn't my room. So I had a small room upstairs, and he had like the basement area to put his stuff, and he had the garage. So he had used the garage, and he had used so he used the basement and the garage and filled them up. And so when I originally started storing some of my own items, I had to put them in the small bedroom because the garage was full and the basement was full. And this was all to frame me too. So that small room was much smaller than the entire garage and the basement. And then on this little room, he put my daughter's bedroom. Okay, so then here, so to get to, like, this is mouse poop here. To even see this, like, he had a hoard in the basement. Like, you would have to step on, like, a foot of garbage. And this isn't even the worst. Like, he dumped his stuff all over the floor. It was like a foot of garbage. And then there were mice in it, and they pooped. So the poop was, like, underneath of his stuff. And so he was trying to charge me for this. Like, my stuff wasn't even down there. So I don't know how you could, like, charge me money to pick up his own stuff. Like, yeah, this is kind of, like I say, I'm not concerned. There is no case here, but this is just my testimony. This is my test. So then here he's taken a picture. I guess here's more bags of trash, which these are not my belongings, because at this point I have already moved and taken all of my stuff. If you can't tell, I have a new house here. This house here is mine, and it's only my name on the deed. There is no narcissist on the deed here. So here's bags of trash, and he's showing his arm with hives on it. And somehow, that I guess I need to pay him more money because he got hives, because he went to the pet store and he purchased mice and put them in the basement. And that gave him hives. It's like what these narcissists do. Basically, he tried to sabotage my life and not give me anything for the house. But what's going to happen is he actually, he was responsible for ruining the carpet because he schemed with my daughter to dig up all the grass in the backyard. And so that carpet might have been able to be cleaned, but it still didn't look good. So he schemed to get me by ruining the carpet. So then he had to install new wood floors, and he didn't just go with the cheap stuff. He got the most expensive wood floors, and he installed them. And he made a big mess in the basement, but then he had to clean it up. And so he's just cleaning up his own mess. And then when the house sells, I'm still going to get my half. Because you have to have some type of agreement, some type of document to be able to enforce any of this. If somebody would have just, there were companies that would have just purchased the house right away. They didn't even care. They would have cleaned it. So, I mean, you can't expect to charge somebody $30,000 or $50,000 to clean when you could have just sold the house to somebody and they would have done it for free. So, that would result in less profit. And so I guess this is just the downstairs, like just more mouse poop, mouse crap on stuff. Like they attack me with hoarding spirits and mice crap and stuff. Like my whole life, surrounded in filth and sending mice into this house too. Can you see it from there? Yeah, mouse poop all over the place. Is how many pictures of mouse poop? Oh oh my gosh. Here's a dead mouse smashed by his trash. There's a dead mouse next to mouse poop. Can you see it? This is kind of funny. Let's use makeup on my nose. Oh shoot. I know that everybody is so excited to see more of this. Now, yeah, dead mouse smashed by his trash, his hoard. How many pictures of mouse poop? Because this could just all be like the same 2 feet. It's just like pictures of the same thing over and over. Here's more mouse poop. It says he took out the insulation. Well, the insulation, it was just bare walls with the insulation like stapled to the wall. So there wasn't anything like that. The walls weren't finished in the basement. So putting them into a bag. If this was something that needed done, it could have been done while we were living at the house for 17 years. Like, the house was this condition. Here's... You don't need me to hold this up. I don't need to zoom in. Let's see. Now, you guys gonna get to see something real fun. Okay. Now, there's more mouse poop, and look at this right next to it. Okay, you see that? That picture next to the mouse poop, that is the downstairs bedroom. My narcissist daughter's bedroom. Okay, and this is her mess. This is the mess that she would make. And I would clean up after her for years, and I had to stop because I was just working all the time. She would try to get me by hiding garbage, putting rotten food on stuff, and then she had her own half of the downstairs. And so that's what her room looked like, because she's a narcissist. And so they were trying to charge me money for that. It's like, these guys, like, drove me nuts. Like, and they say some people had it worse than me. Well, maybe not, because this is what bothers me. I can't handle any more of this. Okay, so here's, okay, that was mouse poop that was in the downstairs closet. Oh, here, you guys can see, like, you know, in most houses, they have a garage, and you could store, like, bicycles, like, camping gear, you know, you could store your holiday decorations in a garage. Here was our garage, and I don't think anything in that was mine. This is the narcissist's garage. So this was all his stuff. So why is this in the binder? I didn't even go in there because this was his area. So you could see the basement was my narcissist's area. The other half of the downstairs was my daughter narcissist's room, and this was the garage. This was my narcissist garage. So somehow he's trying to charge me because he cleaned up his own mess. Like, I seriously was not able to use the garage, so I used a small bedroom upstairs because I couldn't get in the garage and I couldn't use the basement. let's see. So I really don't know, like, at what point, like, while I was moving, there was stuff that wasn't moved yet. It's like, yeah, there's a bathroom right there. That doesn't look bad. What's going on with that? Um, it's like he's trying to make it look bad. Like, there was stuff on the steps while I was moving that I didn't get out in the car yet. So I don't understand. And the trash was from him and my daughter. Like, every day they would dump trash on stuff. And they wanted me to clean it up. And, like, you can only do that so many times. Like, I'm not going to sit there and scrub up poop and like, rotten food all day long. So, see, this is how they... Oh, my gosh. So, the downstairs bathroom was my daughter's bathroom. So, half of the downstairs was the basement area, which was my ex-narcissist. The other half of the downstairs was my daughter's room, and that had its own private bathroom. So I guess somehow I am responsible to pay to clean up my daughter's bathroom. So here, so there's her toilet, and there's mouse poop on that too. And I guess water leaked through the wall or something. I mean, she somehow did this. It doesn't. It just looks like you need to mop the floor and flush the toilet. Like, what? How am I being charged? How am I being charged for this? Because you didn't clean the toilet or mop the floor. Like, I guess I have to pay $50,000. Like, because I moved out. I moved out more than a year ago. I moved out almost 2 years ago. I haven't been living there. So like, this is what you guys are doing, that I'm not there. Okay. Then I guess this is just a picture. I guess this is outside. Positive trash. Maybe this is stuff that was in the garage. He threw away his own stuff. So his own belongings, he took them out of the garage, took a picture, and said it was mine, I guess. Because I moved my stuff here. My stuff's not in Columbus, because I live in a different city now. I moved to a small town. And my stuff is here. But see, I actually was, like, a pretty clean person, and I had to live with hoarders. You guys might understand, as my merchandise was in the shed, and then I had a small bedroom upstairs that was clean. This is what they did to the rest of the house. This is what they did to the rest of the house. Let's see. Okay, so I guess, yeah, that is the garage. That's the garage there. I guess they had to get a dumpster to put the ex-narc's belongings in. He finally cleaned out his garage, because, hey, I couldn't even get in there. Let's see. Oh, he rented a dumpster to throw his own trash away. Because, okay, then we have, I guess, Lowe's receipts from Lowe's, because he decided to put new floors in instead of selling the house. Instead of selling the house and splitting the money like we were supposed to do. He still hasn't sold the house, and he went to Lowe's. He bought baseboard molding, maple, sanded plywood, maple. Okay, he put down maple wood floors. They were, like, professionally done, too. It looks really nice. So the floors look better than they did, actually. Let's say the carpet looked really nice. Maybe the carpet, the original carpet, would have looked better if it was clean, but, like, the maple floors are definitely an upgrade, so good job on that, narcissist. Like, he seriously is making the house worth just what it was going to be before he destroyed it. So he's just, like, making it right, honestly. Because they destroyed the carpet, so he just put down a wood floor. Let's see, what else is adhesive, I'm just trying, grout cleaner. Grout cleaner to clean the bathroom floor is on here to charge me to clean the bathroom. Oh, he bought a new toilet. He bought a new toilet and put that on here. Oh my goodness. Yeah, this says complete solution, white elongated standard height, rough in 1.28 gallon flow, soft close, 2-piece toilet. How much is $189? He bought a toilet for $189 and tried to charge me for it. The toilet at the house worked. Both toilets worked fine. He just put in a new toilet and tried to charge me for it. Look at this. Well, okay, I'll show you guys. Liquid floor cleaner. Okay, so he bought wet jet refill lavender liquid floor cleaner. This is what they're trying to charge me. A polyester soft scrub brush, finishing caulk silicone. So here's his receipt. He spent $263 on this little trip. Yeah, this is in Columbus. I don't want to show, like, making sure nothing private's on this. Okay, so this was purchased almost a year after we separated. This was purchased in 2024 in September. So we split up in September of 2023. So now he's purchased a lavender floor cleaner and a new toilet. When I left, the toilet was working just fine, so I don't know what they did to it. But let's see, right on here, there is a new toilet. I'm trying to show you. I'm ruining this binder to try to show you. And, well, anyways, you can kind of see there. It says there's a new toilet on here. It was $189 before tax. So, I'm being sued to put in a new toilet. New maple floors. Let's see. Wall plates, light switches, a toggle switch, a light. I had dog hair in my mouth. He bought a wall sconce for $60. Like, we had wall sconces. They were fine. Okay, here's so it was a mission to spend as much as possible just to sue me. I don't know how well that comes out, but it does say $60 on a new wall sconce when the sconces were all fine. Like, there was nothing wrong with them. Let's see. Okay, screwdriver bit set. He already had screwdrivers and bits. I was the one that didn't have any tools. He had tools we were supposed to share. When I left, they were hidden in his hoard, and so he got all the tools that were supposed to be half mine. But he still bought new ones anyways to sue me for, and they're on here. MDA casing, that, some of this, you know, I mean, maybe you could agree to, but you'd have to have some type of, like, contract or something. I mean, but the house was able to be sold at a profit in the condition it was. It was sabotaged to look as bad as possible, basically at the discard. Here's another toilet, another $189 toilet. So this one was purchased on August 9th. Oh my goodness. He bought two, so we had two toilets in the house. They were both working. So he bought a new toilet in August, and he bought another new toilet in September. There was nothing wrong with these toilets. He bought new cabinet knobs. Well, I had like these vintage ones. I've had vintage ones that were like in great condition and not replaceable, and so he replaced those with new, like, Lowe's ones that were $7. That's a downgrade, but you know, whatever, that's fine. Oh my gosh, sparkling orange energy drink. So the energy drink is on here. Maybe I'm not being sued for that. I don't know. But it does make this look funny. Okay. Toilet supply line. Elongated slow close. So he got elongated toilets. They were just regular toilets before. I really don't care because I'm not going back to the house. But, like, some people might appreciate some of the vintage stuff I put in there, but some might not. They might prefer the upgrades. I don't know. You know, honestly, I'm not sure any of this is an upgrade. It's just different. So, the house was fine as long as it was cleaned. Paintbrush roller cover. You gotta get the cover for your paint roller. Let's see what else we got in here. Wood Fusion Oak Protect Waterproof Engineered Hardwood Flooring. Okay, that's on here. So he redid a lot of things in the house. But I think this is like God is having him fix a lot of, because these were things that he had damaged or maybe should have been repaired while we were together and they weren't. So he is doing it now. But I shouldn't be responsible for any of this. Anyone can clearly see, like, the house could have been sold without doing any of this. And the house is still not sold. The house is still not sold. So I don't know how he could get any money, because any money I would get would come from selling the house, which he's not selling, and he's still living in. He's still living in the house, and one of my daughters is now living there, and they're not paying me any rent, and they're trying to charge me money. This is ridiculous. So anyways, let's see, my daughter that's staying there, she's over 18. She's an adult now. Let's see, I had to leave to a whole new town and leave everyone from my old life behind. I picked up my cross. I have left, I've walked away. I am trusting God. I have lost my family. I've lost, I guess maybe they weren't really friends anyways, like, you know, we didn't hang out much in a long time, so I had to leave behind family, I had to leave behind friends, I had to lose my house, I had to lose my vehicle, I got my bicycle finally, then I lost my bicycle, but I did get to keep my dogs, and those are irreplaceable, so God made sure I have my dogs. I had a savings, I had storage food, that was all stolen, my vehicle was sabotaged. This house was sabotaged. My clothes were destroyed. My new appliances, my appliances are destroyed. Like the Kingdom of Darkness came and wrecked this house too. See what's on here. Cabinet and door foam paint roller cover. Towels, terry towels on here. Well, you know, that's not really unreasonable, but the toilets didn't need replaced. They were fine. Like, I could show this, but I think it's pretty believable. Like, baseboard molding again. Deadbolt. The deadbolt was working fine, but, you know, if you want to put one on, you know, you can. It's just that it's not required to sell the house. It probably doesn't change the value one bit. Rolled steel, sheet metal, drill bit set. Maybe this is something for the garage. I don't know what that's for. It just seems like they were trying to spend as much money as possible to get me. But the thing is, they're not going to get any money, and then they probably just spent a lot of money on the credit card in order to put new stuff in that was unnecessary. But maybe it will make the house nicer. I don't know. Maybe it'll just be the same. But it was like just a mission to spend as much as possible to sue me. That's what this is very obvious. And if you think about how much property tax is, then you would want to hurry up and sell the house instead of staying there for 2 years. Because the property tax alone would have cost like what many of these items added together are. So, a can with a paint tray liner, pour spout, ceilings and wall, paint, primer, super glue is on. And maybe not all of this is part. It's all included in the binder, but maybe they wouldn't even expect all of it. Well, you know the narcissists do. They do. Ceiling paint, wood adhesive. It's just the same thing over and over again. Just going to Lowe's. Just another day going to Lowe's, spending more money, adding it to a court case to sue me. It's so ridiculous. That I just thought he would steam clean the carpets and then list the house. Like, what is any of this? I don't know. But I was able to borrow the money for this house from my father, then who was upset with me and wants the money back from me when that house was supposed to be sold, and it was supposed to be sold within a couple months, and then he would be repaid within like 2 or 3 months. And I had to leave because I had firemen about to bust down my door, and my dogs would have went loose and probably run over by a car. And my food was being poisoned, and I had to watch everything in the house. So I had to leave. So, and of course, police don't care about any of this stuff. Let's see. But you guys know. Here's another orange energy drink. They must be real good. I don't know. Maybe I need to get some. Pale liners, grit sheet, sandpaper, chip brush. How many oh, here's another orange energy drink. That sounds good. I want an energy drink. Multi-tools. Drywall repair patch. Oak hardwood floors, tongue and groove pliers, steel joint knife, wood pillar, putty knife, drywall, rubber handle, razor blade, insulation, staples, utility knives. This must be like the downstairs basement was never finished. We bought the house, the basement walls were never finished. It just had like that pink insulation stapled. And yeah, it was never finished in all these years. But, when the house was supposed to be sold, then it was finished. And so I could be charged for it. And also I couldn't even go in that room. Let's see, what is this? What else do we have in here? Let's see. I must be like such like the best person in the world. I don't know. I must be such a sweet, caring person, because I still can't hate the narcissist. I feel like so sad for them. I feel so sorry. Like their life is going to be destroyed, and it breaks my heart. And they're still trying to get me, but I feel so sorry for them. Oh my gosh. And they did all of this. They deserve it. They did it to themselves, but I feel so bad for them. Oh, air freshener, very important, but also part of this lawsuit apparently. More orange energy drink. Yep, gotta get that. I didn't really. Maybe I got it once or twice in all those years. There's a lot of things I went without. Blow gun, coupler, plumber's tape, air hose, rodent repellent. We didn't have that when I lived there. Plastic bucket with a blue lid, spray, dispenser, steel plug. These are all receipts, I guess. What is this? Oh my gosh, $429 for a 24-inch built-in dishwasher in black. He bought a dishwasher and tried to look at this. Let's see. I'm trying to get this to show up. You can kind of see $429 built-in dishwasher. Okay, it's not going to show up perfectly, but you can see this says dishwasher. A dishwasher outlet. We didn't have this when I lived there. We had I remember when we first moved in, the dishwasher wasn't working, so we went to some like second-hand repair place and got a dishwasher, and it didn't work. Like, you would run a cycle and the plates would come out with food on it, so we didn't use it. And so he's probably trying to say that I broke it or something, but Actually, you know, the narcissist, it might not have even been faulty. The narcissist probably broke it himself. I think that's what. But he finally got a dishwasher now that it's time to sell the house. Let's see. Coca-Cola is on here. So he got some Coca-Cola with his $400 dishwasher. Let's see, what is this? Okay, this is the upstairs now that I'm gone. Oh, there's plastic sheets on everything. Well, that still looks the same. I mean, that looks... let's see. Let's see, what is this? I haven't seen this yet either, so we're looking at it together. We're looking at it. Okay, he pulled up the flooring to put down the... Oh, he pulled up the carpet to put down new floor. That's what this is. Okay. Oh. So now his computer is where mine was. At this point, I have moved out, and I wasn't allowed in the house anymore. Even though my name was on the... Even though my name is still on the deed, I'm not allowed in the house, and I was not allowed in the house. This is when they pulled up the carpet. And so he has his computer on where my old computer desk was. Let's see. I guess, here's the toilet. It needs replaced because it's dirty. This is my fault too, apparently. Like, when is this? This is in 2024. This picture is in August of 2024. I moved out. I bought this house in February. So this picture is in August. What they were doing while I was gone. This is apparently this is the new floors they're putting down, buying the expensive stuff. Completed upstairs flooring there. Okay, this must be the new. This is the new toilet in the downstairs bathroom. See, floor is still not cleaned, but it was not necessary. But you know, that's fine if they want to put in a new toilet. I don't care, but I'm not going to pay for it. I'm not going to. You want to make the house clean and looking new. That's fine, but it doesn't affect the value, and I'm not going to pay for it. Let's see. So yeah, this just used to be carpet, and now the narcissist has installed new wood floors in my house that I'm not allowed in. I'm not allowed in my house. Let's see the house now. There's the kitchen now. It looks the same except for he moved the island into the center of the room instead of against the wall, and he cleaned the floor. It looks the same other than that. And the bathroom, it looks the same too, except for there's a new toilet. So that's what the kitchen looked like before, except for he moved the island. And that's what the bathroom looked like before, except for he put a new toilet in. The rest is the same. Let's see what else we got in here. With this video, it's going to end up cutting off because it's too long. I left a larger couch. I even let him pick. We had 2 leather couches. I said, which one do you want? And so he got to pick, and he got the bigger one. I should have got the bigger one, because this one's too small. I have been sleeping on a couch that is too small. That's why the narcissist chose this. But anyways, here's the upstairs with the new wood floors. He's got a new rug there. I bet that's in here somewhere. I didn't read all of the... I didn't read all the items yet, so I probably missed the rug that I'm sure is part of this lawsuit. See, there is the couch that was actually mine that I left, and I let him have this really nice leather couch. And he went and purchased a new rug, and he's got some new wood floors. So, and then here's the garage that's finally emptied out of his trash. So, that's just like what it should have looked like in the first place. They really did wreck the house right before. At the time of the discard, they wrecked the house. So it wasn't this bad most of the time, I would say. they deliberately wrecked the house, then took a bunch of pictures. And they took pictures while I was moving and while the tubs are out. And then they took pictures at the worst, and then they took pictures at the best. And you guys know it's not accurate. So this is after he redid the floors and put new floors downstairs. Then painted the walls apparently white. They used to be this really cool green color I picked out. So maybe he's trying to make me sad by painting them white now. But I don't live there anymore, so I don't care. Like, yeah, it was nice, but I don't live there. So it doesn't matter. It's doing me a favor, actually, because then anything I would have liked is gone now. I mean, it still looks okay, I guess. I had a really nice painting that I spent hundreds of dollars on downstairs. It was a beautiful piece of artwork. And so I guess he dumped it in the trash and bought something else here. I bet that's itemized on this list. And here's the new bedroom now that I'm gone. So it's very similar, but it used to have like it wasn't a white wall. So all the walls have been painted white. It used to be like little beige with an undertone of pink. So it was a pretty color. Now it just looks boring, but you know, it looks good. I'm not unhappy with it, but I don't think it's an upgrade. If anything, it's just the same. It's just a matter of preference. So then we also have on the court case listed as another defendant is the treasurer, the county treasurer. Okay, so I was right. The narcissist is living in the house and not paying me rent, and he's not paying property taxes. So here we have delinquent tax right here. He has not been paying property tax. Prior penalty and interest charged is, so he's now $131 of interest and $1,000, more than $1,000 in delinquent tax on this house that was supposed to be sold almost 2 years ago. So he didn't sell the house, and he didn't pay the property tax. They basically kicked me out of my own house and didn't allow me in, and they were going to claim child abuse and call the police if I came back into my house. So then I had to leave. And so I wasn't even allowed to go in my house, and now he's not paying the property tax, and somehow he's trying to sue the county treasurer for because he didn't pay property tax. I don't understand. Like, there's a thing. I'm not concerned. I don't care, because God's got this. Like, this is all in God's hands, and they're gonna get rid of property tax in Ohio anyways. So it's probably all lined up. Like, this house will get fixed and then it will be worth more than $0. Like, they say this house is worth $17,000. Like, my taxes are so low here. But anyways, this house that I moved from is not worth $17,000. It's actually worth quite a lot. And the narcissist is staying there and not paying me rent. It is not allowing me in the house. And the rent will cost more than this tax. But they did have plenty of money to install new wood floors and repaint and do all the repairs that were never done while I lived there. No, they weren't done while I lived there. No. This is hilarious. Let's see, what is this? Full year total taxes on here. So I just don't... That's why this treasurer is on here. He is suing the treasurer for property tax. I don't know how you can even do that. Actually, this might be a good thing if all people sue the treasurer because property tax is unconstitutional. So maybe we all should do that. So actually, if all the narcissists do that, then maybe we can get some real change. They're already trying to pass, they're already trying to get rid of it anyway, so. Yeah, maybe he was only paying half of it. It looks like he was only paying half of the property tax, and then this is my half or something, so I don't know how that's going to work, because this house was supposed to be sold, and I'm not allowed in the house, so let's see. Now see, God is going to restore us, and God's going to make things right. And the narcissists are going to lose everything. So I already imagined, like, as soon as we split up, like, and I saw the lengths he was going, like poisoning my food, I don't know, probably trying to kill me, or trying to send me to the loony bin, just destroying my stuff, you know, sabotage everywhere, sending witchcraft spells, like, I already suspected that he probably would not pay the property tax, but, God's got this, so. Okay, so here we have, oh, this is probably the homeowner's insurance that the homeowner's insurance is a part of this case, I'm pretty sure. Oh, yeah. I'm going to put the policy, total premium for homeowner's policy. Yeah. Charging me $1,000 for homeowner's insurance. I don't have homeowner's insurance here because I can't afford it. I have a new house because I moved out, and we were supposed to sell that house, so. Honestly, I might have to get involved with this, but, I just leave it alone because I trust God's going to take care of it. It's obviously like an attempt to get me. Anyone that looked at this can see. He wasn't paying property tax, but he spent thousands of dollars fixing up the home. But if you don't pay the property tax, you can lose the home. And then not paying the tax and the homeowner's insurance, or charging me for that, but yet not selling the house, and then not paying me alimony. It's clear to see this is some type of setup here. So trying to charge me for the homeowner's insurance. And the thing is, like, I was a stay-at-home mom. I don't even have a W-2. I didn't have a job. So he can't get anything. He was probably going to try to get child support, but you can't garnish wages if you don't have a job. And God never allowed me to have a job. Let's see. This is hilarious. Yeah, I should have been provided for and should have some alimony. Because I tried to do what was right, and I tried to be a good mother, and I did what I was supposed to. I homeschooled, and I lived with hoarders, so that sucked. But this is how they repay, and there's a lot of reasons why, like, God has put me in situations to where we need to revert to a system. We need to go back to the system that God had, where women are mothers and men pay for the bills. That's just the way it has to be. And then you can't be having abortions, killing babies. And it's like, that's what's going to happen when you rely on both people to earn an income. But there's more things that are important than just money. So, but this is what happens when you're unevenly yoked. So if you have a good person that is with a narcissist or is with the devil, and they record things for decades, and they spring it on you and try to get it at the last minute. But clearly, if somebody is a stay-at-home parent that homeschools, you can't sue them. Like, if you were the person that paid the bills, and the other person watched the children, and they watched the children, like, all day, and you went to work, you can't then expect them to pay this, because it had not been paid previously during that time. So this is just common sense. Like, in a lot of states, I would be getting alimony because there is, I don't know what that's called, like when you're together with somebody for so many years. But actually, in Ohio, they don't do that. But still, they look at the situation, they see, oh, you were homeschooling and you're staying home with the kids, so then you weren't responsible for any of the bills during this time. So that was the obvious agreement. And that would continue through, as we can clearly see. But I don't care what the legal system says, and I'm not concerned, because God put me in the situation I'm in. And like all of us, we're going to be used to change the world, and then we're going to be blessed. And so if it's an obvious conspiracy, we can bring up RICO charges. That's the situation that it is, where every single facet of my life has been a setup. From the beginning to the end, everyone that I interact with has been part of a conspiracy. And this is just evidence and proof of that there. So, but God has me in this home, and I'm a step above homeless because I got a couch to sleep on, and it's not quite big enough, but I got my dogs. And if I was on the street, then it'd be hard to keep my dogs. So, or there's roaming pit bulls, and they'd probably get attacked. Let's see. Homeowner's policy, yeah, it's on here. And then, let's see. Then there's things in the, okay, so then he's got bank statements, paying the mortgage payment. What is this here? Oh, this is from the year 2018. So, 2018, this is from 7 years ago when I was a homeschool mom. So I was a stay-at-home mom, and he's putting mortgage payments on this from when I was a homeschool mom. And I also still sold things, and I gave that money to pay off the mortgage. Um, I gave all my money to pay off the mortgage. So that's why I know God is going to fix all of this. God is going to fix all of this. It's clearly a conspiracy that everyone is involved in. So he put payment to credit card and mortgage on here, and the electric payment. So he paid the electric bill and he paid the mortgage on this as part of his lawsuit against me. Let's see. He's putting the money he makes, let's see, now we're into, this is 2019. All of these years, he's putting the mortgage payments as part of his lawsuit from when he was the provider and I was the stay-at-home mom. This is what they will do to you. This is ridiculous. Narcissists can't do this in certain countries, by the way, but they can sure as heck do that in the United States. Let's see. I'm just going through pages, and these are just years of paying the mortgage when we were together. We were together, so we got together when I was 17 and he was 18. And so I guess he's just putting all of the bills he paid while I was a stay-at-home mom as a part of this lawsuit. So that's gonna be a lot of money on here. And I don't have any money, so I don't know. There's no way you can get this. Just say I'm not concerned about this, but this is not the situation that anyone should find themselves in. And I actually get angry. It's like I am out there being a mouthpiece for God and the true religion, and I say if something is an opinion, I will state it as an opinion. But God has shown me things. God has revealed things to me. And one thing God wants restored are the gender relations, and that women are to be financially provided for, and children are to be financially provided for by their father. And this is way out of line what has happened to society. So this is wrong. But yeah, there's always good and bad people. And there's no way they can win in this situation either. I mean, I'm not concerned about this. But this is just an example of what can happen when you have a parent that stays home. As this technically could happen if women we have the right to be mothers, and if the society does not recognize that, then you can end up with a lawsuit and end up middle-aged with nothing to show for it, and you also don't have a career and you don't have work experience because you were a stay-at-home parent. So that's a situation where the Jews, and this is just, this is based on scripture. This is not my opinion. They did not provide for their widows. And in that same way, they would not provide for women that were divorced, or women, not bad ones that were cheating. But, I mean, good women, they did not take care of them. And so that's why God removed his hand of protection. And so this is another thing that said it's not just widows, okay? It's a society that has a system with families, and where you can raise children and they don't go off into a government school system and who knows what they're being taught there. So I'm just going through, look how look how much this is. This is years of just the electric bill and the mortgage payment. But actually, maybe this is good because, like, I'm not angry, but like the sympathy that I have for the devil, it's shrinking more and more with each page. So, I just advanced auto parts. Wait, purchase at Kroger's. So he's putting groceries and stuff from Advanced Auto Parts. And I never had a car. I was never able to have a car. I was supposed to get one, and then like he would always sabotage or lose his job, so I could never get a car. So his car bills are on here when I didn't have a vehicle. This is what they can do to you, and the system needs just to go back to what's right. The legal system, it can help people, but it's also corrupt. So it can go either way. That's not the system we want or need. You have a society that expects women to work, then you will end up with stuff like this, which is wrong. Everyone knows it's wrong. But who's going to stand up and make things right? Well, I don't know. I'll do it. Here's the testimony here. You're paying electric bills for 20 years ago, but how about all my unpaid labor, you know? And it wasn't just like I would be at home with the kids like all day. Like the narcissist was working long hours, like working overtime. And so they would only be home for like an hour or two before they went to bed or before they went to the room. And so I would have to watch the children all day. I didn't even like get to go out and do stuff during this time. So it's like my isolation period. It's just horrible. But I was just trying to do what was right and what was my responsibility. And this is what they do. This is what they will do to you. And so, let's see what's on this. Yeah, I'm not concerned, but I think the more I look at this, any sympathy I have, it's shrinking. It's shrinking. Because I already expected this, but like, this is quite a lot. I mean, and it actually looks really good for me. This does look good for me. And when this binder is mailed and this is compiled by a lawyer, then it makes sense that 2 days ago they quit. If they either were fired or they quit, okay? And so they're allowed to quit if the person they're representing is trying to commit fraud or acting like they're crazy, okay? So that's what this looks like. That's what this looks like here. And so that's probably what happened. And so the more ridiculous this is, then it discredits, like, there wasn't a case to begin with, but this totally discredits everything. Yeah, I don't understand. Transferring money to the savings, to the checking, like, what does that have to, let's see. It's putting the insurance payment and all the bills paid on here. That's fine. They're welcome to do that. So, see, I'm not concerned about any of this because God is going to reward us and pay us back for all that was stolen. It's absolutely true. But like, this is an awful lot of work. This is an awful lot of work that will result in nothing for the devil. They'll just have to pay. I'll probably get more for the house now. Because they've cleaned up their mess and they did fix a few cosmetic issues. Maybe the floor does look a little better. Maybe somebody would like white walls instead of the colors I picked out. So, you know. Let's see. I'm sorry, there's just so much here. This video is almost 2 hours now. Okay, I'm going to try to go quickly. Let's see what, now I'm in 2021 of every bill he has ever paid. Every bill he has ever paid now is on here. As you can see, this is where I am now. These are just bank statements from, I guess, as long as the bank has records. Every purchase at Kroger's, every purchase at, you know, grocery stores on here. Hey, I can't even look at all of this. It's just too much. Okay. There's a joint account to pay bills, buy food and stuff with. So I guess just all of that is in this lawsuit or this binder. The case is gonna. I don't even know how it can continue if I'm a defendant, and if he doesn't have a lawyer. If he doesn't have a lawyer, then I don't, like, what, nothing can happen, I guess. There's Lowe's on here, Amazon. I didn't really like Amazon, so, like, that stuff would be things I think he would probably purchase. Okay, so I'm in the next section here. I can't see what... Okay, an auditor. There's some stuff from an auditor. This must be when he had someone from the bank come to get an estimate on the house after he put mice in it. Before he wouldn't get an exterminator, so. So here's a deed. This original deed of the house on here. Okay. These are old black and white pictures, so that's just a picture of that's like the basement area there, which was his area. You can't really make these out. So I'm not going to show all these because they're just black and white pictures of the house. You can't really make out the detail on them. Yeah, it's just like a map of the... Okay, that's just about the deed and stuff, nothing... Okay. Okay, then we get to the end. There's... the narcissist has also written an essay about why I'm bad here. Deposition for the Red High Guardian. Okay, so he had my grown up. hers that she wanted to keep, all of the trash, mice, and junk remained. I had moved out and was living with my grandfather when I visited the house right before she left to help her move some furniture into her van. There was a horrible smell as soon as she opened the door, and all of the hoard was still there. A few months later, I moved back in when my father had cleaned my old room that had been hoarded up as well. I was there for a lot of the cleanup and saw how hard my father and my grandfather worked to fix what my mother had done. Every hour logged, they worked tirelessly, not only filling 2 of the largest available dumpsters in only a few days, but there were a lot of leftovers that I believe would fill another. I have seen firsthand how much my father wants a clean, tidy house, even not liking when there's something on a counter that shouldn't belong. He regularly cleans the house, usually every 1 to 2 weeks. Now that my mother has moved out, his room is spotless and clean. Oh, I'm sure it is. I'm sure it is. Oh, that's another thing. I couldn't use my bedroom when I lived there. So, when I stayed at this house, the narcissist hoarded the bedroom, and he would let the alarm go off for like an hour. He basically forced me out, so I was sleeping on the couch for like 5 years while I lived with the narcissist. So I didn't have the bedroom, I didn't have the basement or the garage, and I had a small room to put my stuff in, and a shed, which I used my inheritance. But you can see this is clearly a conspiracy. And so this is just the closure I need. This is just the closure I need, as I had saved $50,000, and I gave all that money. I think, or 40,000. I gave all of that money to pay off the mortgage on the house. So I'm not perfect. No one's saying I am perfect. But there were times when, the narcissist would buy things for himself, and then I would buy things for myself, or he would do something and I would do something. And we would have entertainment throughout all of these years. But we never, one reason that we could have trips or entertainment is because I didn't have health insurance, I didn't have a vehicle, I didn't have a cell phone, I didn't have these things. And so I actually spent very little. And what things I did buy that weren't like food, I used my own money to purchase. And even then, like, you see how you get framed. So, any money I did get, I had saved, and I did go I paid off the mortgage with that money, and what is clear. So this is obviously an attempt to frame me. But that's okay, because these people are all enemies. And if you're a chosen one, you know enemies too, and the lengths they will go. And I say, they've gotten this house too. This room here, it's my living room, and it's my bedroom. So, like, I sleep on that couch, and then, there's my clothes, and there's my dirty clothes. So the devil got my washing machine, and, because the home was never fixed that I paid to have done, then I don't even sleep upstairs. There's, the floor, there's sticky stuff on the floor, where parts of the towels were pulled up, and then the people for the plumbers got the handrails and everything dirty. So, I don't want the dogs going up there, and, it's more comfortable temperature down here, so I just stay down here. I had the amount of money to get the roof on. I had paid to get the roof on. I paid to have the house paid, to have some new plumbing put in, to have my front light fixed. And this house would have been perfect to live in. And the reason I never had a job is because God forbid me. God forbid me from getting a job. Now I know why. Is because we are being used to take down the devil, and no one will have any more sympathy for the devil at the end of this. No, and you guys have been with narcissists too. You understand, there is no crying. If anything, I just kept feeling bad, and the more I look at this, I think this is what I needed. This video, I'd never even looked at this, now I have. And I was feeling bad at the beginning of this. I was feeling bad for the narcissist. Because they're going to lose all of their money. They're going to end up alone. Their parents are going to die, and I think they've already split up with their new fake wife. And if not, then she's going to be an even worse narcissist. So I was feeling sad in my heart for this narcissist. But, how my whole family had sold out to the devil, which is clear to see. they are in a worse situation now, and any attempt to help me was to make me look incompetent and to make me look bad and to make themselves look good. And this was a long game from the very beginning. I can clearly see that. I can clearly see that. And when you are a stay-at-home mom in a family where you have to buy your own clothes, you run out of tissues, you don't have basic necessities, you don't have a vehicle, you don't have health care, you know, there are, like anything that you would want to buy, a narcissist isn't buying it, but, and then I felt bad that I was staying at home, but God showed me that was always my right. So when there was anything that wasn't a necessity, you guys can understand, they make you feel bad, they really do, but society makes you feel bad too. And so, like, a lot of us, we tried to be good people, and we wanted to do what was best for everyone. But part of that is, like, you want other people to have fun, and you want to have fun too, and you thought that was okay. But that's actually being recorded and used as ammunition against you later. Here's another deposition from my ex-narc's father. Oh, I haven't even looked at these yet, so... my daughter probably did write this. She probably did write this. She actually and was in a coma in the hospital. She was in the hospital for like 10 days. And she had to sell out during that time. And she came back and she's healthy now. But she has been working for the Kingdom of Darkness and she gets walking spirits. So I know that this isn't how she truly feels. But she was forced to make a deal with the devil. Here's a deposition from my ex-narc's father. My son, and I haven't read this yet. This is the first time. My son owns the house. I'm not saying the address on here. He was always attempting to clean junk out of this house, and his partner would hoard everything in the dwelling. Her stuff trashed every room in the house with what she considered to be valuable merchandise to resell, but failed to do so. Even the 3 bedrooms in the house were loaded with her stuff. That's not true. There was one room which my ex-narcissist stayed in that I didn't use that room. I had clothes in there, but I didn't go in there. I didn't sleep in there. There was another room that was my daughter's room. That was her room. And then there was a little room that I put. See. Let's see. And then let's see. My son constantly tried to clean her stuff. She forbid anyone to touch it. He was yelled at over and over again. He even built a shed for her to organize her things, and she just piled all the same useless things in it instead of using it for her business. I got an inheritance when my grandmother died, which I wanted to get a shed, and I tried to buy one, and my narcissist insisted on building one instead. And so I got just enough inheritance to get this shed. And I did put my merchandise in there. But because he insisted on building it, it had a foundation and I couldn't bring it with me here. So that was the whole point. So I would lose my shed. And the fact that I still have my dogs and a roof over my head, they were very angry about. So let's see. My son was constantly working to pay the bills. I remember when he worked 3 years, 7 days a week. She would not get a job of any kind to help out financially, and she made very little money with what was sold online. My son never saw any of that money that I'm aware of. We were not allowed, me and my wife were not allowed in the house. No one was allowed in the house. The only times we went in the house was on Christmas Eve when the daughters were 3 and 4 years old. Other than that, we would sneak in to help our son fix things that were vital without her knowledge. Sadly, our son and his daughters didn't dare let anyone in that house. When she finally left, our son asked me if it would help him dispose of the trash that I left behind. A very small portion of the mess was our son's. All of it was his. Those piles of trash, those were all my ex-narcissists. None of that was my stuff. I took my stuff with me. I took my stuff and it was organized and cleaned. Let's see. The stench, the stench was overwhelming from the filth that I created. My son and I got two of the largest dumpsters available and filled them both in almost a day to overflowing. My son and I wore face masks and gloves that could be thrown away to protect ourselves. Our son had been working feverishly to reclaim and rehab the house that he bought. It's been a slow process due to the fact that our son is also employed full-time to provide money for rehabbing and basic living. Rehabbing and basic living. Yes, that's okay. Oh no. Here's a deposition from his mother. Okay, so we have a deposition from the narcissist's daughter. We have a deposition from the narcissist's father. And now we have a deposition from the narcissist's mother. Let's see what this says. Our son was constantly trying to reclaim the house. This was because his partner, and she didn't know my name, filled the house with all kinds of things she collected and tried to resell. She never sold the majority of those things. Those things piled up to the point that she filled the bedrooms of their two daughters. There was one small room that I put my stuff in. The other room was my daughter's room. Those things piled up to the point she filled the bedrooms, which gave them no place to sleep except on the floor wherever they could. Our son tried to clean the house over and over again to no avail. Our son even built a great shed on the property to try to relieve some of the mess in the house and just give me a place to do her online sales. She just filled the shed with more used items and never actually used it for a business. He was not allowed to have family or friends in the house because she forbid it. They were together 23 years, and I can count on one hand how many times we were allowed in the house during the early years only. That's the narcissist parents. They don't want to come over, and they don't want to be friends. And I think I was only invited to go out to eat with this grandmother once. So she never liked me. But then there were, my narcissist had a stepbrother, and she loved his wife. They would go hang out all the time, but she didn't want to hang out with me. She was like passive aggressive, and so they only invited people over to their house for the holidays, and that was. But that's why I was feeling bad, because now they're all alone, because their family disowned them. They killed one of their relatives to get the inheritance money. They do hang out at the church a lot, and they're always doing work at the church, so they couldn't see the kids then. And they didn't want to see the kids, but now they do, apparently. It's a narcissist family. They're all narcissists, and they work together. But, they pretended to like me for, like, a couple weeks when I was 17, and then, like, it just kind of, like, went down from there. And apparently, like somebody, so we'll get in some real exciting narcissist news. You guys have probably been through the same thing. So my ex-narc had a brother, and then he was married to a woman. They ended up getting divorced, and when she first met me, she seemed real happy, and she's like, "Oh, I got a sister now," and she was real happy. And I said, "Well, I already have a sister." I was 17 years old, and I said, "I already have a sister." I didn't say it mean. I just said it like, "Oh," because she said she didn't have a sister. And I said, "Oh, I already have a sister because I have stepsisters." And then she got really offended. I'm like, "Oh, I didn't mean it like that, And I kept trying to tell her, I didn't mean it like that. I said, "I already have sisters, so, And so it was something kind of dumb, but I was a teenager. I was 17, and then as soon as she was upset, I'm like, "Oh, I didn't mean to hurt her feelings." She is actually in on it. And so they always acted like I was bad this whole time, and they didn't want to come over anyways. Let's see. What else is in here? So this is, I'm not saying my name, but it says that she would not work a job that paid any kind of salary. So our son was constantly working, because I didn't have a car. And no one was there with the kids. So I would be alone with the kids till 11 o'clock at night. And then, like, the narcissist would come home at, like, 11, and then we would eat together. So there was no one else to watch the kids. Like, I had no other option. I had no vehicle and no one else to watch the children. So it really was like a prison, I'm going to say. Um, he was constantly working. He held 3 jobs at once at times to make ends meet. He worked 7 days a week for 3 years. I'm not sure about that. I'm not sure about that. 18. If this includes scheming and getting people fired and stealing and murdering, then he did work 7 days a week. He tried to have people commit terror attacks too. Okay, the narcissists are so busy. You would never want to be one. Like, it's not fun to be them. Um, he always tried to get her to find some kind of job to help them financially and give him a little break, but she refused. Since he worked so many hours, he didn't realize their 2 daughters were being abused by me many, many times, refusing to even feed them. She punished them by depriving food and slapping them around, leaving many mental scars on the girls. Oh my goodness. Well, I did slap them each like once every 10 years. So, I would say honestly, I did slap them like once every 10 years or so, because like with all the witchcraft, sometimes like just something would get totally out of line. But no, there was not abuse going on. And we didn't have that much food because the narcissist kept getting fired. And so we didn't have that much money. But we always did eat. I actually gave them nutritionally balanced meals. I try to give them the right amount of protein and vitamins, and like I would try to give them like vegetables and fruit every day to make a balanced meal. Like, they were actually supposed to be healthy. But the narcissist was poisoning all of us in the beginning. So we started to get some autoimmune disorders. See, that's at the point that his human soul didn't want to live anymore, left, and then it was just the serpent Nephilim in that body. Let's see. Our son was working hard to bring money in. He tried to make things more normal, but me always tried to keep him from disturbing the way things are. He tried to get me mental help, but I flat refused any mental help. Because I'm the nuts. I'm the one that's nuts. And this whole time, they were telling the whole family all these lies about me all these years. And so it's a wonder, like, people didn't really like me. But this is the type of thing they told the whole extended family. Nothing but lies. The narcissist does things to kind of funnel you in a certain direction. Like, they study you mentally, psychologically, to see, if I do this, you do that. You don't like this, if I do this, you'll shut down. If I do this, you'll retaliate. They test it, and they figure out what to do for each person. And that's how the end result is exactly what they had wanted. And then we learn, we don't let anyone else define us. We just leave them behind. So that's what we learn. Because everyone, like, some people would just walk away and leave. But some of us, instead of walking away and leaving, we'll just stop doing something, so we don't feel like a slave. Or, if somebody mistreats us in some way, like, sometimes people will go out and they'll buy something because somebody mistreats them. So it's like, it's a response to abuse, is basically what the narcissist will do. And they get all of us. That's why you see so many people with addictions. Like, they're being mentally abused or neglected in some way, which they might not even realize. And so they go to the bar and they start getting a drink every day. They do this to cope because they need that dopamine from somewhere. But so none of us, we have to learn, so God's teaching us that our joy and our happiness comes from God, and it comes from ourselves, not from the person that we are with. Okay, so let's see what else is in here. Yeah, since our son worked so hard, many hours, he didn't realize that his 2 daughters were being abused. Because I'm just slapping him. I'm slapping them around. I'm bitch slapping those kids all the time. And he tried to get me some mental help because I'm crazy, but I refused. I refused. His father actually got electroshock therapy a couple times because he's a pedophile. He's a pedophile and he wanted to murder his boss. So he checked himself into the mental hospital and got his brain electrocuted. And this is a story he liked to tell. But yet, his deposition is in here though. Even though he's on all these mental health drugs or whatever antipsychotics he's on, he was still able to write a deposition. So if we take all of the people that are nuts out of this, there's not very many left. Let's see. Um, their daughters moved out. Okay, so my kids are grown up. His kids are grown up now. They're adults. They live with their grandfather for a time, and then they moved to our house. They didn't move there. They might have stayed there a couple days. Um, their daughters could finally make their own decisions. They were in therapy for quite some time. Oh, this is what the grandma narcissist took the kids to therapy to try to frame me and say that I was abusing them. They were when I was moving back and forth. They were all involved in this, taking them to the therapist. My father is involved in this too, taking the children to the therapist to say I was abusing them and slapping them. And actually, like, sometimes the narcissist would slap the kids, but it wasn't that often. But he did it like 10 times more than I ever did. And so that's what I mean. They blame you. But I didn't really think slapping was abuse. It didn't look loving or anything like that. And he was hardly home with them. So I had to watch him because no one else did. But anyways, it's good I had some time with them because the rest of their life might be without me. And maybe they'll have experienced some love in their life. And this is not me trying to get anyone back. I try to extend an olive branch and to have them in my life. But if they have a free will choice, it could be like what the child that comes back later. I forget what that's called. The prodigal child. I think I'm going to see that in the future. But right now they need to see. They need to be there with their father. One of them has already disowned their father and just ran off. One of my daughters already has disowned her father and ran off and hates him now. And so she has gotten married to someone else and will not speak to her father. So her deposition is not in here. The other one still lives with him. And he is buying her food. But I think he's stolen a lot of her money too. He's stolen all the money out of one of my daughter's accounts. So people are seeing what's going on. As he had some allies, they were supposed to split all this money that they got from me. But that didn't work, and one of them ran off. So I will be happy to accept them back in the future. I will be happy to accept them back, but I know it's all part of God's plan. But see, this is what happens when you pick up your cross and you follow God. Is you have to have everything stripped away. And there was a lot of witchcraft and a lot of oppression, and I didn't know, and I didn't see it at the time. I was veiled, and I was being drugged, and spells were being cast on me. So I didn't realize that my children were in danger from their father and from their grandparents. I didn't see it, as that they were casting spells on me, so I didn't notice this. And I would see spirits sometimes, but then they would just do more witchcraft on me. And I think the narcissist was putting things in my coffee, and that kind of like closed my spiritual eyes, so I didn't notice these things. But then towards the end, then God really opened things up. But they were put in a bad situation. And I think that hopefully they can come around, and they'll have their own testimonies, and so they'll have good testimonies. But they have also been tricked and fooled by the enemy. They have been oppressed and abused in things I didn't see. I thought their father cared about them, and I didn't realize. I didn't know he was a narcissist most of the time we were together. I just thought he was a low empathy, kind of sociopath, but still had some limited ability to care and still cared about his children. I actually thought that. I thought he had less empathy, but he still had some. And I didn't think he was abusing people. But then now I can see it. Now I can see it all, and God's shown things, but it wasn't a good situation for them. That's true. But they have willingly conspired against me and taken part in this, and they were hoping to get money out of it. So that is true. And so, hopefully they can repent and come around, and they can have a happy future and come to God on their own. But that's hard when they're only staying with narcissists. They're surrounded by narcissists, and now that I'm gone and I'm not the supply, and I thought like, oh, my father is my ally and stuff, and then, then I saw he's an enemy, and then he's conspiring them, and how he's involved with all of this. I still kind of like to talk to him, but yeah, I don't know. I know who he is and what he is, and it kind of seemed like he was in the middle, but no, I can leave them all behind. I'm willing to leave them all behind and never look back. And then I shouldn't be the one to reach out again. It's not my place. Because I did think I was doing the right thing. The whole time they're telling people I'm nuts, essentially. Smearing my character, slandering me. Um, and that's why when I heard some things it was strange. It's like, oh, I didn't know you didn't like me. I didn't know you thought that was weird. Because, when I'd hear something, I didn't understand that because I didn't think people were bad-mouthing me behind my back. I didn't think people were bad-mouthing me behind my back. And I'm not a high-maintenance person. I bought my own clothes. I didn't get my hair done. I didn't get my nails done. I didn't put on, makeup. I couldn't get to my own washing machine because the narcissist hoarded up the laundry room. He had piles of clothes and rusty nails and trash and stuff all over the place to where I could not get to the washing machine, and there was stuff on the top. And then he dumped mice back there. And so, like, I couldn't even get clean clothes. And then there were mice getting in the washer, and he would bring, like, once every week he would bring up an outfit from the basement that like didn't even have been washed with soap, and it had mouse filth on it, just to make me live in this squalor and blame me for it. Like, I was like living in a prison with this narcissist, and then I'm feeling bad for being a stay-at-home mom. Like, I'm feeling bad. I was trying to hold it together, trying to get them to do their school. It took like all day to try to get them to do their school and not play video games, and they tried to run away, and all types of things. So people say you didn't have it the worst. Well, the type of psychological torture that I went through, it was a lot. It actually sucks so much that I don't miss my children. I seriously do not miss my children, because of how shitty my life was with the narcissist, and they were involved in trying to take me down. They tried to have me arrested. They were putting rotten food in my house, stealing my items, breaking my things, trying to have me arrested, saying things to the teachers, saying I didn't feed them, and then the police would come and say, oh, I didn't expect that you would be healthy. Like, I would have been arrested had they actually not eaten, but they did. They were clearly not abused by me. But anyways, this is the type of thing that will happen, and people can see, because now that I'm gone, then things aren't better. Things are worse now. Things are worse. And, the biggest traitor is the person that you thought was your hero. The one that you thought was on your side is actually the biggest traitor of all. And so, when they end up alone, which is what they wanted for me, and they were involved in, then this is maybe the closure that I need. Because I was going to feel bad about some of my relatives ending up alone. But, seeing that their fake attempts to help me were actually part of a setup to make me look bad, to make me look like a thief, to make me look like I'm abusive, they were involved in that. No, I don't feel bad now. Well, maybe a little bit. Now, I have the closure that I need, that I don't need to talk to you again. I don't need to see you again. And I think that's what this binder has accomplished for me, is that I keep feeling bad for what these narcissists and these, they're going to end up losing it all. And I kept feeling bad, no matter how they try to get me. But actually, after looking at all of these pages here, then I think maybe I'm not feeling bad. And I really don't care. I really don't give a fuck if I ever speak to you again. Okay, so let's see what else is here. So my daughters were in therapy. They were like that little mischievous grin, going to therapy, trying to get me arrested, which is another reason I had to move. For quite some time, one of the daughters is still in therapy. Yeah, because the other one disowned her father and left and moved to a different state. The girls were so glad to be away from their mother and the house. After the girls and their mother were no longer at the house, our son started working on cleaning the house. It took 2 of the largest dumpsters available to clean out most of the mess. The next step was rehabbing the house. Our son worked countless hours and days doing everything imaginable to make it livable. His work finally paid off when him and his daughters could move back into their house and sleep in their clean, refurbished bedrooms. Yep. So, there you go. It was all a setup by the narcissist from the beginning. But to find out, that your parents are a part of this plot and scheme, that they actually make sure you get with the narcissist, that they think the narcissist is better than you, they conspire with the narcissist, and it's like, yeah, these people, they might look good, they might look reasonable, but if they've been working against you and making people not like you your entire life, there's a point to where, maybe I just won't take your phone call next time. Maybe I won't take it ever again. Okay, guys, thanks for watching. I think maybe this is the closure I need in Narcissist. If you were trying to upset me with this, if anything, you have helped me. Because I was feeling sad thinking about you being homeless and alone with no family. But now I'm perfectly fine with it. So thanks for watching. God bless you all.